Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1:01 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, April 1st, 2022. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Ooh, we made it to the end of the week, and it is a beautiful day here in Chicago. Still a little bit chilly outside, but absolutely lovely. Sun is just gushing through the windows right now. It's super bright in here, and it's putting me in a good mood. I'm also in a good mood because today, right after the live stream, I'm going to be heading out to DC, going to be meeting up with the Believe in the Run team, and we're going to be racing the Cherry Blossom 10 mile this weekend. And tomorrow, don't forget, everyone that's in the DC area, whether you're running the Cherry Blossom 10 mile or not, come through, stop by. We're going to be meeting at 9 a.m. on Saturday at the World War II Memorial. We'll go take a look at some of the cherry blossoms in bloom, run around for about 2.5 to 3 miles, and then we'll finish kind of like in between the Washington Monument and the World War II Memorial, kind of in that area. Depending on how many of us are going to be going to the expo right after the run. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be some giveaways from ASICS there. There'll be some custom tees, limited amounts, but there'll be some custom tees to give away. I think you guys are going to want these tees. I saw some mock-ups of it. You're going to want it. You're going to want it. It's not my favorite color. It's not black, but it's a good color. It's a solid color. You guys are going to like it. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. All right, let's see who we got in the chat here. Leona was here earlier today. She's not in here now. She got here a little bit early and said some nice things to me about the dog, so I appreciate that, Leona. And Sean says, hey, everybody, ran 4 easy today in the humid upper 50s. Ooh. Monday's run had single-digit wind chills, so that's spring for you. Yeah, oh, you know what? I completely forgot. I went right over it because I got distracted by the run club this weekend. But I do want to say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast in the audio-only version. I know that's a lot of you guys that are out there. Welcome to you guys. Hopefully, you guys are getting some nice weather now. I mean, it's April, so spring. No more this winter-spring transition. No more mud season. No more shoulder season. Let's just get into spring. I think if we all will it into existence, it'll happen. So spring only from here on out, all right? And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully, by the time you're watching this, your week's over. Maybe the kids are in bed, or maybe you're like just washing up, cleaning up after dinner, and just getting this on in the background noise for some relaxing, just kind of hanging out with other runners talk. So welcome to you guys too. Hopefully you got a nice beverage. I got some afternoon coffee, which I'm pretty excited about. I gotta tell you, switching from like my like thermos sipper mug, it's a Yeti, not thermos, but like the thermal sipper mug to like a regular kind of mug does help me with my coffee consumption. Helps me to drink it faster, which is always good. All right, let's get back to who is here in the chat. We got Luke Klein says, hey, everybody, crushed 5 miles in the morning. Awesome. Pat Hicks says, hello, it's a rest day. Also awesome. And he's going to get an easy 8 in the morning. Sounds nice. Lucas H says he's taking a PTO day from work. Awesome. Very good. Very good. I think that we should all make sure we're taking our PTO. I try to remind that to my wife that she's got to take hers. She's not good about taking them. And she's one of those that will like take a day off, but be like, I'm still available if you want me to hop on a call. So, you know, we're working on it, but you know, old habits are hard to break, I guess, but we're glad to see you here, Lucas. Martha got her second booster yesterday. She gives us a nice wave emoji. Great job, Martha, and decided to mix and match because they learned each version produces slightly different types of antibodies. Feeling funky, but I know it'll pass by sometime overnight. Well, hopefully you will get through it quickly. I'm assuming that Lev got one too. And I appreciate you guys, and hopefully you'll have very minimal side effects. I mixed and matched too for mine because I had Johnson & Johnson first, then I got Pfizer the second time. So, you know, I'm already a mix and matcher, but I'm right under the like cutoff. Not right under, but I'm under the cutoff for another booster. But, you know, if they say we should get one, I'll get one. I get the flu shot every year, so no big deal for me. Louis says, yo, what's going on? And Emma says, happy Friday, co-fam. Good to see you. Emma. JC's here. Says, hello, everyone. All right. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Runtime says, greetings from Land O'Lakes, home of 81 degrees and melting butter. It's 81 degrees there? What? That's crazy. All right. Sean says, Kofus, you got some love in the new Ginger Runner video if you haven't seen. I haven't seen it yet. I saw he did a thumbnail when he put an arrow in it. He told me about it on Twitter, so I thought that was pretty fun. I will definitely have to go take a look at that. I'll probably watch it while I'm at the airport or something. I like to get to the airport early. I'm one of those people. I don't mind sitting there early. I don't get there as early these days because it's crazy times, but and there's a lot of angry people at airports these days. But I do just kind of don't mind sitting at an airport because then I know I'm there. If the plane leaves early for some reason, I know it. I'm there. If the plane's gonna be delayed, I know because I'm there. I'm just a nervous. I'm not a nervous flyer. I'm a nervous getting on the plane person. I don't know if that makes a big difference, but the flying part I have no problem with. But yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Cool. All right. And Lou says almost finished packing for Cherry Blossom. I'm just about finished packing. I think I'm done packing. I mean, I'm going from one city to another city. So I feel like if there's anything I need, I know there's a lot of good running specialty in the area that I'm sure I can get it figured out. But there's certain things that I always got to make sure I got to make sure I got my cameras, my memory cards, and my adapters for my computer and the plugs and all. Like that's the stuff that it's really a little bit. Some of it's a little harder to kind of pick up. But like if I need another pair of socks, shorts, gels, that stuff I know I can get. If nothing else, I'll probably get it at the expo. So I think I'm all packed. I'd like to do another inventory, make sure I do have everything that I need. I have been known to pack for an entire trip and not bring any underwear. I've done that before. I almost did that this time. I did remember to pack underwear, but I feel like I'm good. I've got what I've got. Just gotta make sure like this camera, microphone, and stuff like that get into the bag, and then I'll be good to go. All right. Let's get to the package for today. So I've been telling you guys like all week that I ordered something from the feed. And it's here. I had the box upside down for a second. So let's open it up because I don't know if it just feels like it took longer or if it actually did take longer. But I forgot what I ordered at this point. So I don't think that I ordered any more Martins. And I don't need any gels for this weekend. So let's see what's in here. This is not sponsored. This is stuff that I bought myself. I would love it if the feed wanted to like start hooking me up with some affiliate links. That'd be great. I should probably reach out to them. Maybe I can make that happen. Okay. Oh, what's this? 2 things in here. Oh, Hammer vegan protein. I've been out of like recovered drink, so I felt like I needed to try some new ones. So Hammer Nutrition vegan protein, organic plant-based blend, chocolate flavor. And it's soy-free, dairy-free, and nearly fat-free. We've got 120 calories per serving, 7 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein in here. So that's a lot. A little bit of, there's minimal magnesium and calcium and iron and stuff. And only 10 milligrams of sodium. So basically, a little bit of sugar, a lot of protein. So hopefully that tastes good. And then the other thing that's in here, this was a heavy package. Okay, I got this one. This is like the opposite of the other in terms of a recovery drink. But since we've been like trying out all the different Power Bar stuff lately, I thought I'd try to go through all of the products. Power Bar's Recovery Max Advanced Recovery Drink Mix, high in whey protein, so the opposite of vegan. Made with whey protein, which contains leucine and other branched-chain amino acids to stimulate protein synthesis and help rebuild lean muscle tissue. Same, it's got 20 grams of protein, but this has 330 calories, so like almost 3 times as many calories per serving, and 57 grams of carbs. So I know that some people like to have, I've usually looked for like a 2-to-1 protein to carbohydrate ratio. This is flipped. This is like 1-to-3 almost of protein to carbs. So it kind of flips it all upside down, which I think some people prefer it that way too. So depending on your preference, this could help you out. What I do like about this Power Bar one is it's got 250 milligrams of sodium and 560 milligrams of potassium, 190 milligrams of magnesium, and 5 milligrams of zinc. So you're getting some minerals and stuff in here too, some electrolytes. So cool. Awesome. Yeah, 2 scoops of this with 8 fluid ounces water. and it's a tested product. So it's not like the Clean Sport. I'm not familiar with this thing, but it's a product of, what is it? Commitment to a Clean Sport, the Cologne list, COLOGNE. It's on the Cologne list tested products. So that's always nice to see some sort of like, thing like that, and letting you know that at least test for accidental contamination. So there we go. That's what I got in the box. I really thought that was going to be something more interesting than not that protein drinks aren't interesting, but I thought there was going to be other stuff in there. Just 2 things. Okay. It's all right. All right. Sorry, I'm a little behind you guys in the chat. Emma says, I'm an anxious traveler and hate the airport, but I'm always there 2 hours early just to be safe. Yeah. I would just rather be there early and sit around and be bored a little bit than have to rush. Because I'm never bored at the airport. I've either got work to do, or I'm going to try to find something to eat, or just people watch, so. Rainrunner says, I don't really like flying, period. So, one of the things, there's been 2 categories of videos that I've been watching on YouTube lately that I find to be generally very relaxing. One, the clouds just came and blocked the sun a little bit. So one is, it relates to flying, but the first one doesn't. The first one is a channel called Never Too Small. It's like an architecture YouTube channel. It's got like millions of subscribers. And all it does is talks about these apartments that are like 400 square feet. It's kind of like tiny homes, but in apartments. And it talks about like how they've managed to make it livable in a small footprint. So everything it's like if IKEA went super crazy, like just super intense, concentrated IKEA. Everything folds, tucks away, slides out, serves dual purpose, that kind of thing. That kind of like gets me a little bit tense, like tiny house living kind of thing. But the way that they shoot the videos, there's like a somber melancholy to all of them that I find really relaxing. So when I'm working, like when I'm filming B-roll for shoes, when I'm editing video, that's a lot of the time I'll just leave those on and let it just autoplay, because there's something very relaxing about it. The other category of video that I've been watching a lot on YouTube lately is rail travel videos, like people that are like, I took the train from Union Station, New York to Los Angeles, or from like Chicago's Union Station to the Rocky Mountains. And I also find those really relaxing too, even though they're all kind of boring. Because they're not that interesting, but there's something about like the way that those tend to be shot that I find really relaxing. I watched one yesterday and I finished it, I think, this morning. That was about a person who wanted to go from LA to New York without flying. So he decided he would take the longest Greyhound bus route. It was supposed to take 4 days. And so what happened was there was weather at some point along the route, like a third of the way through. And so they canceled the rest of the trip. And so he had to get a flight from like somewhere outside not even out, it was past Albuquerque. I forget where it was. And then he had to fly to Dulles, because that's where his flight was to go to, like, he had to go back to the UK and within a certain time frame. So he couldn't wait for the next bus to take him. So I'm like, yeah, if you don't like flying, there's always options, but they're really not palatable into like terms of like modern day time frames. When my wife and I got married, one of my cousins from Korea was studying in Manhattan. He was getting his PhD, and he was a Korean person getting a PhD in Russian literature at Columbia. I just feel like that's like a very strange combination of things. So he was there, and I don't know how he got to New York, but I don't remember. But he is terrified of flying. So when he came to the wedding, they took the Amtrak, and it took him 2 days to get here for the wedding. And so like he had to block off like a week just to attend the wedding because he didn't like flying. So I mean, it's like, yeah, it's not a great way to travel. I mean, I understand there's people that are nervous about it, but the alternatives are not great. That was a really long kind of Sidetrack. Sorry about that. CV76 says, I once took the Amtrak from New Orleans to New York City because I was scared of flying. He's better now. New Orleans to New York City. That took a long time, huh? That must have taken a long time. Crazy. I think the longest, I took a Greyhound bus to visit a friend when I was in college from St. Louis. The friend was in Virginia Tech. So I went from St. Louis to, where is it? Blacksburg, Virginia. That took a long time. I think there was like an overnight somewhere. There was a long layover in Terre Haute, which just seemed like they dropped us off in a wasteland. And then I don't remember much else of that. That was a long trip. Mr. Random says, yo, hello. What carbon super shoe have you tested that is the most stable, and which one would you recommend for a first-time super shoe buyer? I think that the thing that I would recommend for a first-time super shoe buyer would probably be one of three shoes. Metaspeed Sky, Vaporfly Next%, and maybe Alphafly. But I don't think those are the most stable. So I think that's kind of like two different questions, you know? When I think about the stable super shoes, the ones that I think that are stable are like the Hyperion Elite. I've tried the version 2. I haven't tried version 3. I think about the Carbon X2 or the Carbon X3, which I don't think is out yet, but I prefer the Carbon X3 a lot more than the Carbon X2. There's a lot like the foam is a lot spongier in a good way. So those I think that are stable because they have a wider platform on the bottom. So those are the two that I think I would probably lean towards. Martha says, the best statistic that's reassuring to nervous flyers is that there are more people killed in car accidents every day than the entire history of aviation. Do you know what I think of when I hear people recite that fact, Martha? I think of Dumb and Dumber when, what was his name? Lloyd? Jim Carrey's character tells that to, what was her name? Amy Swanson? Samsonite? When he's driving her to the airport. Luke Klein says he once took the Amtrak from LA to Chicago. See, I would like to, I want to take a long train ride. It's just that, like, I feel like they stop a lot and the stops are not very great. Like, I would love to do like a European, like, high-speed rail tour or like a one in Asia, place like in Japan. I think that'd be great. You know what I would love to be able to do is like, I wonder if they're like, see, like even just that Greyhound video, I love the idea of like going from like LA to Chicago, but like it stops in weird places. So like maybe I could, I don't think the schedules would work well for this, but like I would love it if I could like ride a bus all through the night, wake up in a different place, run all day, and then sleep on the bus. Hopefully showering before I get on the bus. And have the bus take me to like a different place every day, just like a running tour. I feel like that would be a good way to combine it. Like that's the only thing that's like stops me from like wanting to go on that adventure is like, well, if it's like 4 days, I'm not gonna like run. How am I gonna run? So that doesn't work. My in-laws did a trip where they went to Vegas and then they rode a train from Vegas to like the Grand Canyon. I don't know how far the Grand Canyon is from Las Vegas, but there's a train you could take, and it's just like all windows. Not all windows, but there's a lot of windows. So you can just look, and it's like a sightseeing tour. You go up to the Grand Canyon, and then I don't know if you get out or not. I don't remember if they got out. And then you come back, and I think there's lunch. Yeah. Most travel is just eating food in a different place. But yeah. So I think I would like to do something. I would love to be able to do something like that. I feel like that'd be amazing to do if you could figure out a way to do that and like work the schedules to do that in Europe. Like, I don't know. Start in England, maybe start in Scotland, get really far north, and then just take bullet trains or high-speed rail all over Europe, just like waking up in a different place every day and then running around all day and then hopping on the train again at night. I don't know if the schedules would work for that, but I feel like Europe would probably be the best bet. Remy says, in terms of flying and talking about nervous flyers, he can count 7 different times his name was called on the PA system. Last to get on the plane, trying to leave early, whatever. Yeah. See, planes leave early. I feel like you should get there. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. My wife is the opposite because she used to be a consultant, like a 100% travel consultant. So her normal week was fly either Sunday night or first thing out Monday, and then take the red eye or fly like last flight out on Thursday. So she was flying like all the time. And she's just like, what are you in such a rush for? Because I think she's just so jaded about being at airports. They're terrible places. I'm like, yeah, you go twice a week. I go like, at the time I was like, I go twice a year, So it's just, I don't know. That was just different. I still kind of like being at the airport. Scott says, we took the train to Orlando from New York. It sucked. But doesn't that train from New York to Orlando, can't you bring your car on that? So you could you drive up your car, and then that way when you get off the train, you don't have to rent a car. You can just drive your car. See, I feel like that's something that's an idea that makes a lot of sense to me. Because then that becomes a really nice way to travel. I don't know, when I had, my kids aren't like super young anymore. I guess they're still young, but not super young. When I was super young, it was just like, I don't know, I felt like we needed more hands whenever we traveled. So like the idea that like both my wife and I could pay attention to the children while we were traveling, like a train always sounded like such a great idea. Like I really wished that there used to, before we owned a car, I really wish that there was a train from Chicago to Dubuque, Iowa, because then, like, let's say it left Union Station at like 4 or 5 o'clock on a Friday. We'd hop on the train, put all our stuff in whatever baggage carriage thing that there is there. I'm not exactly sure how long haul train travel really works, and then like we'd sit in like a sleeper car, and then the 4 of us would just like buy a pizza, bring a pizza on board, and play board games and eat pizza until we got to Dubuque. And then like my in-laws would pick us up. Like that was always my dream, but there's no train that does that. So now I think I've given up on that dream, especially when Obama was president, there was talk about like, well, he's going to probably funnel some high-speed rail money to Illinois, connecting either Chicago to like Minnesota better or something like that, or a direct rail to St. Louis that's a little bit more efficient. I don't know. I don't remember. There was always different talk. And then once the Obama was no longer president, I was like, no, we're never going to get high-speed rail in Illinois, or that rail line from Chicago to Dubuque is never going to happen. So I've given up, and now I'm just going to wait for self-driving cars so that I can just hop into a box that drives itself, and the 4 of us can eat a pizza and play board games. Some board games that I highly recommend, Sushi Go. I love that game, Sushi. Have you guys ever played it? It's really good. My kids love it. And that's a fun one. Runtime says, I went to college in Terre Haute. One time I flew to Chicago for a job interview, and I was the only paying passenger on the plane. That's so funny. The only other thing that I know about Terre Haute, I think there's a track meet there, and that's really important. And was it Columbia House or BMG? One of those, like the shipping warehouse was based out of Terre Haute. Those are the only things I remember. Ed says, trains are great in Asia too, but trains are better than planes. More roomy, on time, bring you into the center of cities, less security clearances. North America is really missing out. I think so, but I think that at this point, like America's like over trains. And so I think America would rather invest in self-driving cars than they would in high-speed rail. Because I think the big thing is like a lot of America is not living inside a city anymore either. So like, what do you do when you get there if you don't have your car already? So I think that's like the big problem. I think that's why it's hard to get it. And the other thing that's a problem, I think, in the United States is that like, oh, you're going to build a high-speed rail? Well, if you want to get my vote for it, you're going to have a stop for that high-speed rail in my tiny little town in the middle of Illinois between Chicago and St. Louis. So I think like a lot of that kind of stuff happens. And so like a high-speed rail can't go that fast because it has to stop 7 times. So I think that's like another thing that kind of happens in Illinois. I think everywhere in the United States. But I do think that the U.S. missed out. It was an opportunity, and we lost it. All right, I'm going to scroll down. I'm really far behind you guys in the chat. Matt says, my two hobbies are running and board games. Did coaches find another YouTube niche? There is a very vibrant board game YouTube community. But I also think that they are a little bit more active on like TikTok and Instagram. Like stories and reels works really well for people that are in like the board game, like social media genre. There's a lot of people there. I don't pay too much attention to it because most of the ones that they talk about aren't like kids games. But maybe once my kids get older. Yeah, Sean Devlin, the Columbia BMG did the 12 CDs for a penny or whatever. Yeah, they always shipped out of Terre Haute, Indiana. It was funny. Rainrunner says, I love Sushi Go. It's fun. We taught it to Grandma and Grandpa when we went to visit them in Florida because actually we bought Sushi Go for them because we like to buy board games to leave at Grandma's house. So that way, like when the kids are all together, there's new stuff to play like all the time. And before they went to Florida, we knew that they like to play a lot of like board games and card games when they're on vacation. So we bought them Sushi Go, and we learned how to play it there, and we liked it so much that we bought one for our family. So that is a fun one. The kids also like Taco versus Burrito. That's another good fun one. It's good to play with the kids of like a variety of ages. And then there's like Throw Burrito and Throw Avocado, which are kind of fun games, but like it gets messy because you're throwing things, not like you're throwing actual burrito and avocado. There's like these little like styrofoam, like spongy like things that you throw at each other. So it gets a little bit too rowdy for a board game for my preference. All right. Dad around says he thinks that the new Ultra Carbon shoe looks nice. Yeah, I mean, did you guys see the plate that it has in it? I'm interested to see that. Who was I seeing talk about it? I saw a video about it. Was it? Oh, might have been Running Warehouse that talked about it. Said they're like, it's a race shoe, so it's gonna be snug fit, but a foot-shaped snug fit. So I'm like, I like where that's going. And the outsole of it doesn't look like a bear claw or like a foot bones. It kind of has that look to it, but it's like they finally modernized it a little bit. So that's pretty funny. That's pretty fun, I think. So I like the way that they've changed it. Yeah, Carlos says it's more of a fork than a plate, right? It kind of looks to me like it almost looks like a triangle. So it's more like the triangle has two grooves cut into the side of it. So there's like a wider part in the middle and two flanges almost on the side. And I'm thinking that the way that must work is when your foot hits the ground, you depress the bigger flange and it comes back up because the other two are still stable and upright. So I think that's probably how it works. I'm not sure, but it doesn't have like the normal scoop that like a regular carbon plate does. So like it'll be interesting to test out. I think it's in a new foam too. It's not just regular like Ego foam. I think. I don't remember. So it'll be interesting to see like, does carbon work in zero drop? And how does it work in zero drop? So it'll be interesting to see. And Undeadly wants to know, let's see how they handle in the heel area. Never had good experience in their road shoes in the heel. I like the way that Ultra does their heels. They're always super floppy, and I like floppy heels for all shoes. Race shoes, daily trainers, I just like it floppy. I know like a lot of shoes have like a cup, like it's a plastic or a cardboard type of like cup that's in there. I know it's probably not cardboard. It's probably just a very thin kind of plastic, but like it's a structure. Those just always seem like they don't bother me, so I never complain about them too much. And I know some people like them, but like it just seems like unnecessary for me. Dennis Chicas here says, a little late, but I made it. Saludos. Welcome, Denise. And Dad also likes the floppy heel. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. Scott says, I had his first Martin gel today. I think it worked. Finished my 15-mile without walking. Well, there you go. It's nice when a gel works the first time. I was listening to the Rambling Runner podcast today while I was at the store. I went to the grocery store after dropping the kids off at school. And I was listening to that while I was doing my shopping. It was one where Matt Chittum was interviewing James McCurdy to give like tips for the Boston Marathon. And two things were notable about that conversation in regards to Martin gels. One is that James McCurdy pronounces it like it's a French word. He's like Martin. So I was like, I'm not sure, but it's a German company, so I don't think that they would apply like a French pronunciation. And I feel like if it was supposed to be Martin, it would be Tin, not Ten. Anyway, but I don't think that's how it's pronounced. But he definitely said Martin, like it's a French word. And he also described the consistency. I would normally describe the consistency of Martin gels as like strawberry jelly without the strawberry. It just feels like if you had like a flavorless like preserves, like, and not like a good like homemade kind, but like the kind like Smuckers, like the kind that comes out of a squeeze bottle. Like that's kind of like the consistency to me. And he insists that the consistency is that of snot. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never had that much snot to be able to like kind of extrapolate an experience of like, this is what 3 ounces of it would be like. But those two things really stuck out for me from James McCurdy. Did any of you guys listen to that too? Yeah. Fantafilis Dopke says that the Ultra Vanish Carbon has a new foam. It's Ego Pro. That's right. So it is a new foam. I'm looking forward to it. I have a feeling that I'm going to be, here's like to lay out what my expectations of it are going in. I feel like I'm going to experience from it, not the same experience, but an analogous experience that I got from like the Carbon X1. I'm going to come in with it like huge expectations, and then it's going to be a good shoe, but because the expectations were so high, I'm going to be disappointed about it. So that's kind of like where I'm thinking it's going to be. But I'm hoping to be really pleasantly surprised because I really enjoyed the Ultra Superior. That was a good one. The Lone Peak was good. I felt like the foot shape was too roomy for me, but I liked it overall. So like, I feel like if they can take some of those lessons. I also like the Escalante. So I feel like they can make a racing version of the Escalante. That's not the Escalante Racer. I think it could work. But I'm also I don't want to get myself too hyped up for it. Martin says, ew, no way, it's Jell-O. Martins are Jell-O. Snot doesn't hold together like Jell-O. And Scott agrees. I thought it felt like Jell-O lumps. Yeah, Jell-O lumps, I could go with that. Dad Runner says, like, it'll probably be disappointing like the Mont Blanc. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to try the Mont Blanc. I just don't think that one's for me. I have a feeling I'm going to put it, like if I wear it, I'll be like, I don't know where to run in this where I need it. And it's more than kind of what I want. So Undeadly's not happy with it at all. He says it's a straight up mess. Really? I thought I saw some reviews of it that were positive. Yeah, I'm not sure. Luke Klein says the Hoka Carbon X1 was a dead fish. I think that I think it's not quite a dead fish. I thought it was better than that, but I also feel like everyone wanted something that was going to be exactly like a Vaporfly. So when it came out and it wasn't exactly like a Vaporfly, people were like, what the heck? So I think so again, expectations versus what you get. And they talk a little bit about that on the Believe in the Run podcast today too. I listened to 2 podcasts on my run today. That was a good one. Recommend. Brian Nee says, Martin consistency reminds me of coconut jello dessert you can get at Dim Sum. I don't think I've ever had that dessert before. Stevie 76. What's the difference between snot and broccoli? Kids won't eat broccoli. Oh, I like it. I like that one. Oh, man. Dad Reynolds says the Hoka Supersonic is available today. Oh, it is? Oh, maybe I'll have to get one of those. I still have so many Hoka. I got next week. I'll be going to Iowa. I'm gonna bring the Tecton X and the Speed Goat 5 out. I'm looking forward to those shoes. I have a feeling that I'll enjoy putting a lot of long miles in the Speed Goat 5, and then I'm not sure exactly what to expect from the Tecton X. Is it going to be more like I don't know. It looks like a Torrent, but it's got a plate. So is it going to be like peppier than a Torrent? I don't know. We'll see. I can't wait either way. Rainwater says, I love the dad energy in this live stream. I bring it every day. That's all I got. That's all I got. Nothing but dad energy. Chris Georgialakis says, do we know if there'll be something interesting from ASICS and trail shoes for 2022? I don't know. The only ASICS trail shoe that I know of is the Trubico. And that doesn't excite me very much. I didn't run in it. I saw Ginger Runner's review of it, and I was like, I don't know. I think I might pass. The tongue on it was like a weird, just very weird. It seemed like, no, I don't think I want that. But I don't know. I can ask this weekend. That reminds me. Update on the Cumulus 24 for women. For women, the heel drop is going to be 8 millimeters in the Cumulus 24, and the stack height is going to be almost exactly the same. So I think that the men's is 24 millimeters with an 8 millimeter stack height, and I think the women's is 23 millimeters with an 8 millimeter, not stack height, 8 millimeter heel drop. So men is 24 and 16, women's is 23-15. And in terms of gender specific features, they're using that, what's it called, like 3D something, where I think that the way that they design the foams to compress is different between the men and the women. And so I think that they're going to use that kind of like differential compression to achieve what other brands are doing with like 12 millimeter or 13 millimeter heel drop versus like the men's version that might have 10 or 8. And so I think that's kind of how they're going to try to like, kind of keep the heel drops a little bit more reasonable while still creating shoes that like, I think that the way that women's feet hit, I don't know if it's purely a size issue or what, but the way the feet hit and also the way that the shoes fit. So some updates for the Cumulus 24. So sometimes I do remember to ask questions that we talk about here in the live stream, and I get answers. So there. All right. Natsuku says, so I have a specific question. Garmin Forerunner 55 and 245 has a feature that will tell you if you need to up your pace for your desired time. Does the Coros Pace 2 do that? I'm not sure. I think, I don't know. It's been a while since have I used the Coros? I used the Apex, or did I use the Vertex? I can't remember. I don't know. But I think that some of them have like a, like pace windows. Like you could set a pace window, and if you go outside of your pace window, you won't, it'll give you a beep. So there are certain things like that can do that. I think it was the Coros that will like recalibrate. I think, is it the Coros or is it the Garmin that like if you hit the lap timer as you actually cross mile markers during the race, and then it'll tell you your estimated finish time or projected finish time. Maybe that's the Garmin. Maybe we're talking about the same thing. I don't know. I'm not sure if the Coros has that or not. It's been a while since I run in a Coros watch. Jason Dahl says, "Hi everyone. Stupid April Fools gets me every year." Oh man, what got you this year? You know what I keep thinking would be a great April Fool's Day joke is something that's gotten everyone real mad. I don't know if you guys have found it on Twitter, but it's not an April Fool's Day joke, but I totally think it should be. But USATF announced when the USATF like half marathon championships will be. Um, I was gonna say like, wait, didn't we just have half marathon championships? But I think that was 15K. But half marathon championships will be in on May 7th in Indianapolis, and people are furious online because they're like, this doesn't give pros enough time. Their calendars might already be set, and they might not be able to fit this in. The talent pool isn't going to be as good because people didn't know about it until right beforehand. Noah Droddy complained about it because he's like, it would have been nice to race at home, but it's just too short of a notice. I can't make it out there. And so everyone's super fired up, from writers to pros to coaches. Everyone's mad. And I was just like, man, can you imagine if on April 1st USATF was like, "JK, everybody, we got you." I mean, I don't think USATF is like that. They don't joke, I guess, but I think that would be a really good one because everyone is so mad, and rightfully so. It's bonkers that this is how it happens, and I think that the fury is over the fact that like USATF has been doing this for many events, like all year long or for several years. They just don't. There's no like if you go to the USATF website, and if I look up like half marathon championships or like 10K championships, like nothing shows up, you know. So it's like really hard to figure out when these races are. Like if you're a spectator and want to go watch it, like to go and attend, like I don't know how you're supposed to do that, you know? I mean, and if you're a pro, like it's not like the pros know. The pros have been complaining like, "Hey, are we going to get any guidance on when such and such championship is?" And they're just like complaining on Twitter and tagging USATF because they have no idea. So I feel like if USATF made that April Fool's Day joke and be like, "No, just kidding. The half marathon championships will be in, December," I think that'd be really funny. People would still be really, really mad, but yeah, I think it'd be funny. Scott said the Hammer Hard Seltzer ad was hysterical. I didn't see that one. I could try. I could go check that out. I think that I would like something like that. DJI had one, which was not a very good one, where basically like they showed a drone with airbags on it, like a schematic, and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting," but very clearly not a real product. It took about half a second to realize that. But Hammer Hard Seltzer, that's kind of funny. I like that. Jason says he saw a post that the IOC was dropping the Olympic marathon for 2024, and I believed it for a second. He got all angry for nothing. That's good. Oh man, that is funny. That is really funny. Because I mean, Diamond League dropped the 10K. Or did they ever bring it back? I don't know. So I don't know. So like, it wouldn't be too surprising that they would do something silly like that. Fantabulous Dopke says, "I think the difference in drop for men and women is due to the, on average, different angle of their pelvis." Oh, that could make sense. I could understand. That checks out, I guess. I don't know. And Linda says, "I thought the reason for foot mapping for women was 3D foot shape, higher arch, more narrow heel to wider forefoot ratio, not really offset related or landing related." Well, I think that's like for fit. I think that's what's going on. I think that's what's happening with a lot of the Puma shoes, especially like there's the Puma. I think it's the XX. I don't know what they're calling it, double X, XX, or what, where the heel is much narrower. It's a wider forefoot. It's exactly what you're talking about. So that is I think is something that's known. But I also think that like the way that the weight distributes, like if you did like the pressure pads and see how like people's feet are landing when they map like on average men versus women, I think there's differences there, or either that or preferences that generally people find in terms of like what women like versus what men like in terms of heel drops. So I think that's part of it too. So I think there's kind of like two different ways that there's differences. So That's my understanding. And I don't really understand the difference between men's and women's shoes. Dad Runner says, serious runner injury video was hilarious. Really hit home with me. Posted on Facebook and people were giving advice thinking it was real. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. Love it. Stevie76 says, you got accepted to New York City Marathon. Psych, April Fool's. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that like New York City Marathon decided to do that well before April Fool's Day, because that would have been annoying. By the way, have you guys seen copies of the acceptance email that people are getting for New York City Marathon? So I got the rejection email, and we talked about this, where like for London, like the font was really big and it says like, you didn't get it or something along those lines. And it was like screaming it at you. And I'm like, for the people that like, that it says you got in, I'm sure that's really exciting and fun. But for the people that didn't get it, maybe a smaller regular size font that's not so like in your face would be better. New York City Marathon sends out rejection letters with a woman that has a bib on for New York City Marathon. She's like running like this. She's super happy and like, yay. And then the email below it says, unfortunately, you did not get in. So I'm like, that photo is unnecessary. But for someone that got in and the email body says like, congratulations, you made it, appropriately celebratory. It makes sense. But then I saw a copy of the acceptance email that people have been getting, the people that got in. There's no photo at all in the acceptance email. It just says, congratulations, you got in just kind of regular size font. I mean, I think the congratulations is a little bit bigger, maybe bold. But there's no photo. The same photo isn't there. So that photo is only for people that didn't get in. So I'm just like, that's just rubbing it in. That's just rubbing it in. I don't know. Yeah, Scott said the rejection email super pissed me off. It's so unnecessary. Like I feel like there was an approval. Someone was like, Tim, your job is to make the rejection email. Make it, like in something that lets people down easy, but encourages them that, you know what, there's still ways you can run with a charity bib, or you can run virtually, or consider our 9+1 program. Let them down easy, but make them still feel optimistic. Like it's not over. And so I'm sure Tim was like 2 days later, was like, here's the email. I looked at 6,000 runner photos from last year's event. And here's the one I picked. We're going to put this on there. And someone was like, perfect, send. And this is what we got. So, yeah. Jason says it's another reason to hate New York City as a Chicagoan. That's funny. That's funny. JC says, still no email from New York City. I guess they know I was not accepted since I checked the website about 100 times on Wednesday. Did it get... So someone says, Cheryl Gayhart says that hers ended up in the promotion ad section of email, like in your junk mail. Thought it was a joke. So maybe your not JC, maybe yours is in junk mail. I don't know. Yeah, marking them. This is ultimately my problem of the whole like feeling of the email is, he says, LOL, it's rude. It's basically, check out this great time you won't be a part of. Yeah. That's how I feel. It's just like, just words would have been fine. We didn't need a photo. Yeah. So yeah. oh, Cheryl says the opposite. I read this wrong. Her acceptance email ended up in. Oh, so she thought her acceptance into New York City was a joke. I thought you said your rejection for some reason. Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing that you found it there, though. Congratulations. That's awesome. Sean Devlin is like, Tim. The imaginary person I made up, Tim. And JC says he checked the junk mail folder email over and over. Nothing. That's weird. Mark says, Tim was responsible for the rejection email and Jim was responsible for the acceptance. They really should have had a touch point before final drafts. That's so funny. Oh, my goodness. Chris Pantocrator says, hey, Kofuzi, new fan here. Welcome. Says, what's your favorite non-lakefront Chicago run? Non-lakefront Chicago run. I would have to say just kind of like running down, like in the loop. Like I like to run like under the bean over by the Picasso, by the Federal Plaza, like just running through all. And it's like not like that great of a run, but as far as like scenery goes. And then if you cut down like towards Wabash, where like the Columbia Art School is, I don't know if it's Columbia University, the art school. Um, there's just tons and tons of murals and street art. So like that's a good kind of route to do. There isn't really a route. I just kind of like wander around when I'm running. So that's kind of fun for like sightseeing. But for running, I think the 606 is great because it's a little bit shy of 5K each way. And you could run uninterrupted the entire time. No traffic crossings, nothing. So like you could just run. And then I also like to run the North Branch Trail. That's where me and my running buddy like to run a lot because he lives kind of near the south end of it. And so you just kind of run from the North Branch Trail all the way up into those, I think that's the suburbs. I don't know how far we really go. We got up to like Saguenash and passed through there, I guess. So yeah, that's another good place I like to run. There's a couple of road crossings that you have to deal with there. And there is water during the summer from like pump water things. You actually pump it. It's kind of weird. And there are some bathrooms along the route too, so it works out pretty good. Yeah, Jungle Mank says, "Hey, all just popped in. No picture in my acceptance email, just a little animation on the word surprise." Yeah, I was definitely surprised. There you go. Well, congratulations. And Martha says, "If it were up to me for rejections, all right. Sorry we couldn't accept you this time, but please try again and we hope to see you in the future." See, that's all you need. That's all you need. Thoughtful, says exactly what needs to be said, and it doesn't feel like you're rubbing it in any kind of way. Yeah. Remy says, "Hey, Co, you still thinking about Ironman 70.3 Atlantic City in September?" Oh, I forgot all about that, Remy. I got to think about that again. I'm trying to think of when I could get a triathlon in my calendar. I don't think it's going to be a 70.3. I think if anything, I might do another Olympic distance. I think swimming did not go as well as I hoped it would over the winter. In other words, I did not know swimming. So I'm thinking like at some point I'm going to try to find a swimming coach and really just work on fundamentals because nothing else works for me in swimming. So I need to just start over again basically. And then we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, maybe that'll be when I come down to go watch. What is it like to watch a triathlon? I'll ask my wife. Oh, it's hot. It's getting so hot in here. I got this sweatshirt on. Oh, warm. All right. Nataku asks, "Have you ever been rock climbing at Vertical Endeavors in the west suburbs? You should check it out." I have not. I've only been to First Ascent. We go to the one in Avondale off Addison. That one, I like it. It's got plenty of room, big space. Parking is can be a little bit tough, but we usually get there early, so it's not a problem for us. We used to be able to rock climb at the local gym in our neighborhood, but during the pandemic, they shut it down, and they haven't opened it back up again. So there's just a rock climbing wall there that no one ever uses. And then my daughter has been to a couple of other ones. Her besties are really into it. That's how she got into it. And so they've gone to other like bouldering. There's a new bouldering gym somewhere in Wrigleyville, I guess. And they're like, "You guys, you should really come." And my daughter doesn't really like bouldering. I think it's because it's really strenuous. I do like bouldering because it's more like solving a puzzle than it is like it's solving a puzzle that makes you really tired very fast. But my daughter really just likes climbing. So I don't know. Vertical Endeavors, maybe we'll check it out. All right, let's do one more and then I get going. All right. Remy says, "Come and find out what it's like to spectate a triathlon. I'll be at Atlantic City." I mean, the location is good. I could always combine it into a family trip. September sometimes is easy. It's getting close to Chicago. I wonder if there's a relay. Maybe I'll do the running part. I'm going to try to get a team together. Sean says Rich Roll was talking about doing a 12.5 mile swim he's doing, and I was exhausted just hearing it. I heard about that on the roll on. Can a 12.5 mile swim? I mean, the man is incredible endurance athlete. So, but even he has to train for that. So, yeah, I just wish I knew how to swim better. Like I watch my kids in their swimming class, and I'm like, I want an adult swimming class like that. But they don't teach adults in the place I take my kids. So that's unfortunate. But like, yeah, the 5-year-old is getting pretty good at swimming. My 10-year-old, I mean, they've got her like learning. I don't think they're really doing breaststroke, but they're doing drills to start learning like butterfly. And I was like, that's impressive. And she's doing like a lot of the swim drills that I was trying to do, as I was trying to teach myself how to swim. And I'm like, oh, she's learning it real young. So I think hopefully swimming is something that she can enjoy throughout her life. All right, that's going to be a good place to leave it for today, guys. Next time I see you guys live will be Monday, and we could talk all about DC and the Cherry Blossom 10 mile and the Shakeout Run. Don't forget tomorrow. It's already tomorrow. It's kind of weird to think about it. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time, because it'll be in DC, 9 a.m. local time. Hopefully I'll see you guys there for the Shakeout Run. It should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have some other surprise guests there too. I'm not sure if they're coming for sure, but they're like a maybe. So that'll be super exciting if that can happen. All right. And I hope you guys all have a really great weekend. I know some of you guys are racing. Good luck on your races. And some of you got long runs getting ready for Boston, or just have some long runs, having some fun. Hopefully you have great runs out there. And until the next time I see you guys, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.